Every one of us, at some point in life, encounters situations that seem beyond our control. Moments of loss, confusion, sickness, or despair. These are valleys where hope feels like a distant memory. But God is still in the business of bringing revival, whether physical, spiritual, or emotional. God can breathe life into your situation. Today, we are going to explore how faith in God's power can lead to revival no matter how bleak the circumstances may seem. In Matthew 9, we read the stories of two people, a ruler who had lost his daughter and a woman suffering for 12 years with an issue of blood. Both were in desperate situations, but both witnessed revival through faith in Jesus. Their stories, along with Ezekiel's vision of dry bones, show us that God's power is not limited by what we see. His ability to bring revival into our lives is unlimited. While he spoke these things to them, behold, a ruler came and worshipped him, saying, "My daughter has just died, but come and lay your hand on her, and she will live." So Jesus arose and followed him, and so did his disciples. Matthew 9, verse 18 to 19. The ruler in this story is identified in other Gospels as Jairus, a synagogue leader. Despite his status and authority, when tragedy struck, there was nothing he could do to save his daughter. It is a humbling reminder that there are moments in life where human effort fails. This ruler came to Jesus not in pride, but in desperation, and most importantly, in faith. He believed that Jesus had the power to reverse the irreversible. When life knocks you down, it is easy to stay in despair, but Jairus shows us that we must still come to Jesus. He could have stayed home mourning, but instead, he sought out the only one who could revive his daughter. He approached Jesus with bold faith, saying, "Come and lay your hand on her, and she will live." This is the kind of faith we need to have in moments of desperation. Not a timid faith, but one that believes that God can change any situation. Jesus didn't delay. He responded immediately to Jairus' faith. So Jesus arose and followed him. When you seek Jesus in faith, he moves towards your need. His presence alone is enough to bring revival. And suddenly, a woman who had a flow of blood for 12 years came from behind and touched the hem of his garment. For she said to herself, "If only I may touch his garment, I shall be made well." But Jesus turned around, and when he saw her, he said, "Be of good cheer, daughter. Your faith has made you well." And the woman was made well from that hour. Matthew 9, verse 20 to 22. In the midst of Jairus' desperate need, another miracle unfolded. A woman suffering from a chronic illness for 12 years broke through the crowd to touch Jesus. According to the law, she was considered unclean because of her condition. And by cultural standards, she had no business approaching a rabbi like Jesus. Yet in her heart, she had a deep conviction that if she could just touch the hem of his garment, she would be healed. This is faith that breaks barriers, whether social, emotional, or spiritual. She didn't let her shame, her condition, or the opinions of others keep her away from Jesus. She knew that people could only pity her, but Jesus could heal her. We all have barriers that may try to keep us from Jesus. It could be fear, shame, the opinions of others, or the size of the problem we are facing. But like this woman, we must push past those barriers with bold faith. When you take that step, no matter how small, toward Jesus, he responds. Your faith has made you well. When Jesus came into the ruler's house and saw the flute players and the noisy crowd wailing, he said to them, "Make room, for the girl is not dead, but sleeping." And they ridiculed him. But when the crowd was put outside, he went in and took her by the hand, and the girl arose. Matthew 9 verse 23 to 26. When Jesus arrived at Jairus' house, the situation looked hopeless. The mourners were already wailing and grieving, convinced that the girl was beyond help. But Jesus had a different perspective. He said, "Make room, for the girl is not dead, but sleeping." The crowd ridiculed him because what he said seemed foolish to them. This is where many of us struggle. Sometimes, faith in God's ability to do the impossible will look ridiculous to others. People may mock your belief that God can heal, restore, or revive what seems dead in your life. But Jesus wasn't deterred by the ridicule. He put the doubters outside and focused on the miracle that was about to happen. You must be willing to remove the voices of doubt and negativity from your life if you want to see God move. Faith requires you to put your trust in God even when the world laughs at the impossibility of your situation. And just like that, Jesus took the girl by the hand and she arose. Ezekiel's vision of the valley of dry bones in Ezekiel 37 verse 1 to 10 is one of the most powerful images of revival in the Bible. God brought Ezekiel to a valley filled with dry, lifeless bones and asked him, "Can these bones live?" Ezekiel responded, "Sovereign Lord, you alone know." God then commanded Ezekiel to prophesy to the bones, saying, "I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life." As Ezekiel prophesied, the bones came together, tendons and flesh appeared, and finally, God breathed life into them, turning the dry bones into a vast army. This vision is a picture of how God brings revival. You may feel like you are in a valley of dry bones, situations that seem lifeless, beyond repair. But God is asking you the same question: can these bones live? The answer lies in prophesying God's word over your situation. Speak life into the dead areas of your life. Declare that God will bring revival. God is ready to breathe life into your circumstances, but He requires your participation. Just as Ezekiel prophesied, you must speak in faith, trusting that God will move. Today, I believe God is bringing a revival into your situation. Whether you are like Jairus, facing an impossible situation that only God can fix, or like the woman with the issue of blood fighting through barriers to touch Jesus, the key is faith. Faith in His ability to revive what is dead, to heal what is broken, and to restore what has been lost. Just as Ezekiel prophesied to the dry bones, God is calling you to declare His word over your life. Speak to the dead things. Proclaim God's promises over your health, your family, your finances, your dreams, and your spiritual life. Revival is coming, and when it does, it will leave everyone amazed.